Okay, is Hannah Mediri here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh. Hi, where's Chaya Atkins? I don't believe it. She's always here. Maybe she's not feeling well. Leah, is Leah here? Here's Leah. Should have asked for Moshiach. Shoshana is here, but she didn't come up yet. Rochel is here. Batya is here. Good morning, Batya. Ilanit. Elena. Gianna. Shirel. Mrs. S. Rachel Chana.
Morning.
Good morning. Shoshana Chosid. Okay. Okay, we're talking now. This is the good side, this is the other side. The other side of the story. Side in Aramaic is sitra. That's the root of the word, probably. Sitra is the root of the word side. And other is achar. So we have the sitra achra, the other side. That's the source of life, of your Yetzer Hara, of your animal soul, also called your godly, your vital soul, also called your human soul, also called your self-centeredness. Also called the clever one, also called the wise guy. There's a lot of different names. Also called the angel of death, Malach HaMavis, because that's what he's selling. He's selling the opposite of life. Because what he's selling is the opposite of what Hashem wants us to do, and Hashem is the source of life. Shoshana, could you give me a Tanya, please?
Yes.
So the word that's used in the Tanya is mesoav. Mesoav means impure. So we have pure crowns, and we have crowns that are impure, garments that are pure garments, and garments that are mesoavim, impure garments. When a person, we have 10 aspects on the good side, on the side of holiness, on Hashem's team, and we have 10 aspects on the other side. We have garments of holiness and garments of unholiness. When a person does things with the garments of unholiness, so he makes for himself crowns of unholiness. Levushim meso'avu. In Hebrew, the word for this is tameh. Tameh. Tameh means impure. So on the bottom of page 104, towards the bottom, the garments of the animal soul, that's the other side, the animal soul, make up just about everything we do in the world. Everything that says here is mitachas hashemesh, under the sun. In other words, in the world of creation. Why? Because if we started, we were doing a review. What's your name again, please?
Alisa.
Alisa. Let me just put you down here on the list of attendance. Welcome to the class. Are you here for a day, a week, a month, the whole term?
Bezrat Hashem.
Bezrat Hashem. Are you from Eretz Yisrael?
Actually, I'm originally from India and I'm from Australia. So
You're from Australia?
Yeah, I'm finishing my pure Bezrat Hashem.
Alisa. Okay. Alisa from Australia. So you speak English, Baruch Hashem.
And Indian languages too.
Well, we're happy to have English speakers and non-English speakers.
Baruch Hashem, Baruch Hashem.
I've never had such a big class.
This is Hashem.
I'm used to teaching classes of 10 or under. This is a record. So it's harder to teach a big class than a smaller class because you never know if everybody's getting their information straight. So if anything is puzzling to you girls, please raise your hand and ask a question. We'll say it again. One of my first teachers taught me, this goes back to the last days of the Dark Ages. Repetition is the mistress of learning. So we don't mind repeating the same thing over and over again. Somebody once said there was a Reform rabbi, wrote a book about tzaddikim, and he interviewed the Rebbe. And after his first Farbrengen, he had a private interview with the Rebbe called Yechidus, and he said to the Rebbe, you know, Rebbe, I was listening to what you had to say and all the things that you said. It just seemed to me you were repeating the same thing over and over again. And the Rebbe said, well, I only have one thing to say. Alisa, what's your last name?
De Silva.
Ditova?
De Silva, sorry. D apostrophe S-I-L-V-A, De Silva.
D apostrophe?
S.
S.
S for soap.
S
for soap?
Yes, soap. Yes.
Soap. Sammy.
I for ice cream. L for lollies. V for victory. A for
De Silva.
Actually, my name is supposed to be Brody, but yeah.
Supposed to be what?
Brody.
Brogan?
Brody.
Brody, from Broad.
Yeah, I think so. Yes.
Okay. There's a Rabbi Broad, used to live in our community. A very wonderful person. He used to come to Simchas. He would make everybody happy. And he wrote a book about his childhood, growing up in Russia, on the run, always on the run, a young child, because he was a criminal. He was learning Torah. And anyway, it's a very interesting book. Rabbi Chatzkel Brod. Okay. So these garments of thought, excuse me, speech and action are the drivers of everything that we do. Now we're talking about action. Keep this clear. We have action, speech, and thought, and he's going to work through them. It's very carefully structured. And every word, every term is precise. So in terms of the world of action, all the things that we do are, most of them, 98% of them are from the other side, motivated from the other side. Now, in the other side, we saw yesterday and the day before, there are 4 levels corresponding to the 4 worlds, corresponding to the 4 letters of Hashem's name. 3 of these levels on the other side are totally impure, totally impure. They are the source of things that we cannot deal with. We cannot deal with them. They're harmful to us physically. They are harmful to us spiritually. So they are the source of life of every non-kosher substance or activity. Any forbidden activity. Robbing a bank, going through a red light, whatever it might be. When you do it, you're plugging in to get your life from the other side. Not going to be good. There's a saying, an English saying, but you know, popular sayings of the people on the street are also Torah. Why are they popular? Why do they last hundreds of years? Because they're true. And anything that's true is in the Torah. You may not know where, but it's there, because the Torah is very big. So they say, sweet in the mouth is bitter in the belly. And anybody knows about diet knows that's true. The worst thing for you is sugar, but it's so good. So you want it. So you develop bad habits, and that's breaking your bad habits is called spiritually avoda. So this is our avoda. That our mind is the Tanya for today. Those of you who learn the daily portion of Tanya, our Tanya portion for today is that the service of a regular person, a Beinoni, a wannabe, is to rule over the desires of his heart. To control your heart. You don't just do things because you want. You do things because your mind approves of it and tells you what you should want it. And then it goes through the process of action. Actions that are not approved of by the mind because they're not from the holy side, they're from the other side, are, according to Shlomo, King Solomon, vanity and a waste of one's spirit, a waste of the life that's within us. Who wants to waste their life? Nobody wants to waste their life. We want every minute of life that's given to us to be precious, to be eternal. When we're young, we always think, well, there's more time, a lot of time left for all that. A righteous person knows that is the argument of the other side. You don't have to do it now. It's okay. Don't get so excited. And the godly soul says, what are you talking about? This is Hashem himself offering himself to be with you. And you say, well, you've got more. I'll get to it later. Procrastinate a little bit. We've got fun things that we can do. That's how the argument goes. You think you're special? Don't you know there's a big world out there? Millions of people who don't do this kind of stuff, who don't dress like you dress, and don't say blessings, and don't worry about if the food is kosher or not. And don't worry about what they look at or what they listen to, or when they get up or when they go to sleep. Come on, be normal. That's how it goes. That's how the other side talks to you, because that's the Yetzer Hara. That's the animal soul. That's the selfish inclination, which says, better have a sweet in your mouth and don't worry about the future. Eat, drink, and be merry today. Bitter in the belly, well, it doesn't hurt me now. I'll be okay. So that's what King Solomon says on page 104. It's all vanity. Vanity is an empty spirit, an affliction of the spirit, it says here. Re'os ruach, an affliction of spirit. Like it says in the Zohar, we all remember what the Zohar is. Who wrote the Zohar? Rebbe Shimon Bar Yochai, 2,000 years ago. In Parshas Beshalach, which is coming up in 2 weeks, about crossing the Red Sea. So in this, what he has to say about crossing the Red Sea is that the Yetzer Hara is a teviru, the rucha, a breaking of the spirit of a person. Break your spirit. What do you mean you break your spirit? That you don't feel it, you don't realize it, but one good deed leads to another good deed. One mistake leads to another mistake. And when a person makes a lot of mistakes, then the Yetzer Hara who convinced you to do it, you can trust me, he says. Would I steer you wrong? No way. I'm your buddy. This is good. You're going to like it. Then this same Yetzer Hara comes back and says, you're an imposter. You're a bluffer. You don't really mean it. Look at all the negative things you did until now. And now you want to do you want to do a good thing? Come on, that's not you. And he makes you depressed and upset. So that's what he says here. It's a teviru the rucha. He breaks your spirit. He convinces you to do negative things and then tells you you're no good. If you go and interview people who are in trouble and you say, what happened to you? And I'm sure that in most cases you'll find out that somewhere along the line, somebody they respected told them that they were no good. So then when they came to that test, a challenge between that which was desirable and that which was right, why should they choose that which is right? It's harder. And anyway, I'm no good. You see? Yetzer Hara says, you say, anyway, you're no good. So that's what it says, a teviru the rucha. It breaks your spirit. That's in the world of action. Now he goes on, and similarly, that's not just all the things that you do, all the words that you say, all the thoughts that you think are also from this other side. How do we know? Because they're not about Hashem. They're not about Torah and mitzvahs. They're not about your relationship with goodness and holiness. So all the things that you talk about and all the things that you think about are from the other side. And he says here, and that's the meaning of the word Sitra Achra, which means the other side, not the side of holiness, going up to page 105 at the top. So what then is the side of holiness? What is the Tzad HaKadosh Kadosha? HaKadusha, Tzad HaKadusha. Eine Ela Hashra V'Hamshacha Mikadushos Shel HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The holy side is where Hashem can be found. When you do something from the holy side, Hashem is found with you. Like an aura surrounding you, a light. When you walk, I encourage girls, I encourage you, take Tanya in whatever language you can deal with it. If you can deal with it in the original Hebrew, good. If you speak Spanish, the Tanya's in Spanish. If you speak Russian, Tanya's in Russian. If you speak French, it's in French. It's been translated to every language. The Rebbe had the Tanya translated into Arabic.
Oh, wow.
It was one of his job, one of the things he did so many things, the Rebbe. He was constantly thinking of another way and another way and another way to spread holiness, to expand the parameters of the holy side. So if you learn a little Tanya by heart, a few lines, let's start today. Yesterday is the yahrzeit of the Alter Rebbe. What do we do the day after the yahrzeit of the Alter Rebbe? We learn something the Alter Rebbe wrote by heart. Let's learn some Tanya by heart today. Take the first line in any language that you speak, learn it by heart, and learn the second line by heart too. They go together. And review them as you walk down the street. You go from here to the bank. We all have to go to the bank. Got money to buy things. Say these two lines over and over and over and over and over again 100 times until you know them. And you're walking down the street with an aura of holiness around you. And don't think that it's not noticeable. It makes a change in the world. So that's what it says here. Tzad HaKadusha, the side of holiness, is the indwelling, so to speak, of holiness on an activity that you're doing, on the words that you're saying, or the thoughts that you're thinking. Now, what's an image for this? It says that the tent of Sarah, Ram and Sarah, they didn't stay in the Hilton. They had tents. And it says over the tent of Sarah, there was a cloud. But the cloud didn't make it dark. The cloud was a shining cloud. And that cloud was there because Sarah cooked delicious food. And it was kosher. And it was there because Sarah lit candles Friday evening before Shabbos. And they burned the whole week long. And because even though the Torah was not yet given, Sarah kept the laws of family purity. She used the mikveh. And for these three things, there was a cloud of holiness shining over her tent. So that's what it means. That's an image of what it says here, Hashras HaKadusha, the dwelling of holiness upon the person doing this thing, saying this thing, thinking this thing, thought, speech, and deed. So that means we've got a cloud over us right now, because we're learning Torah.
Excuse me.
Cloud holiness. Question.
Yes, please, Rabbi. Can I please ask, you said Sarah lit candles?
Yes.
Went in the mikveh. What was the third mitzvah that she did? You said 3 mitzvot she did?
3 mitzvahs. She lit candles, and she kept kosher food,
Okay.
and she used the mikveh.
Good idea.
Now, these 3 mitzvahs, by the way, are represented in the name Chana, which is the name of the Rebbe's mother. Chana stands for challah. It's kosher food. Nun stands for nida, which is part of family purity, lost family purity. And the Hey stands for Hadlakas Haneri, she lit Shabbos candles. So the name Chana stands for these three mitzvahs that distinguished Sarah. When Sarah passed away, the cloud went with her to Gan Eden, I guess. There was no more cloud over the tent. People didn't see the shining light of the tent. Rivka was 3 years old when she was rescued from her wicked family. So when you meet somebody and they say, that person come from a not a good family, say, and Rivka also came from a not good family. What do you want? Mother of the Jewish people. She had a child called Yaakov Avinu. So Rivka was 3 years old when she was rescued from the family of Lavan. Like to have this organization here, Leman Achai, for the sake of my brothers, where they rescue Jewish women who get lured into Arab homes. And then they're kept prisoner. They can't escape. And they knock them up with a couple of children, and then they're really held hostage. And they beat them and who knows what else. And make their life and make them into slaves. So Rivka was rescued at the age of 3, and she was brought to Avraham as to be a wife for Yitzchak. Yitzchak was a little older than she was, 37 years older. Actually, he was 40, and she was 3. And he took her to the tent of his mother, Sarah, and the cloud came back. And from this, we learned that she lit Shabbos candles. And that's why the Rebbe encouraged girls from 3 years old to light Shabbos candles. Now, it's a sure thing that during those 3 years, when Rivka was, from when she was born until she joined the household of Avraham Avinu, Avraham lit candles for Shabbos, because you're supposed to have light in your home on Shabbos. We don't celebrate Shabbos in the dark. So he lit, and probably Yitzchak also lit, maybe. For sure, one of them lit, but there was no cloud. And this 3-year-old girl lit a Shabbos candle, and the cloud came back. So when Yitzchak saw that, it says he brought her into the tent of Sarah, his mother. In other words, what does it say her mother? We know Sarah was his mother. So Rashi says, the miracles that attended his mother returned. So he saw that she was fit to take the place of his mother. So she became the second of the mothers of Israel. And that's how on the basis of that, the Rebbe asked girls of 3 years old to light Shabbos candles, or even earlier, as soon as they can say the blessing. And then what happens? The side of holiness, which is the indwelling, that's what we call it, the indwelling. What does indwelling mean to you? The Hebrew word is better, hashra. Hashra means indwelling. The extension of God's holiness. Where is this to be found? Next, page 105, very crucial information. It's only found on something that is bottle. What does the word bottle mean? Bottle is a word that's used everywhere in Hasidus, a very important word. Bottle. Different vocalization, different set of vowels. We say bittul, something that's bittul to something else. Bittul means totally given over to them, devoted to them. I don't like the word subservient. It means I serve under them, serve under this person, subservient. But that's what it says, that Hashem, holiness, only dwells on something that is subservient to him. What's the opposite of subservient? The opposite, sometimes we're going to say the opposite, egotistical. Egotistical means a sense of me. I feel myself. I remember when I was a kid, I had a cousin. He was very smart and he was very talented. He was a great athlete in those days. You know, when you're young, athletics is how you define a big defining term in your vocabulary, your awareness. He was very athletic. He was very good, very talented. At one point in his life, he said to me, just before, we were bar mitzvah, getting to that age, he said he realized that he thought. Oh gosh, I never realized that I thought. I was never aware of thinking. He was aware of thinking. That was even more reason for me to look up to him. So that when a person thinks about myself, that's Yetzer Hara. That's called yeshus, a sense of feeling of being something. I'm a something, and I could be a bigger something. Or I could go on a diet. I could be just as big as something, even though I weigh less. Dieting doesn't get rid of it. What gets rid of it? Devotion to that which is true and right gets rid of your sense of self. Your sense of self, has a terrible odor. Stinks to high heaven, literally. In high heaven, there's a nice odor. It's a wonderful odor. How did Avram discover the cave where he buried Sarah, Machpelah? There was 3 angels came to visit him 3 days after his bris, and he wanted to serve them. His big thing was serving food to guests. So he chose 3 young calves, newborn. Well, maybe a week old or 2 weeks old. And he was going to serve them a delicacy, which is tongue. That's a delicacy. Listen, we all eat meat, right? And you forget where it comes from. You think it comes from the butcher. It comes from the store. It comes wrapped in cellophane. It comes from an animal. And the Torah tells us how to prepare the animal with slaughtering it with the requirements for the knife and the soaking and the salting and everything. So he was going to serve them tongue, a real delicacy with mustard. And one of the little calves said, not me. Ran away. And even though he just had a bris, he had to run after it. And he ran and ran and ran. He followed this calf, and the calf disappeared into a cave. And he went into that cave and, whoa.
He smelled the Gan Eden.
He smelled Gan Eden. How did he know what Gan Eden smelled like?
He couldn't get a guess. He didn't know. It was just a guess.
No, it wasn't a guess. He knew. Because earlier in his career, the Torah hints of this. He was in a place, he came from a place. Where did Avram come from?
The land of Ur.
Where did he come from? I think it's in Iraq somewhere. Okay. It's a place called Ur Kasdim, which in English is the light of the Chaldeans. Well, Ur means also light, but also means fire. And why did it get that name? Because that was where the ruling king of the world at that time was Nimrod. Nimrod said, my God is the God of fire. And Avram was teaching everybody that there's no, fire is not a God. God is invisible. And so he says, well, we'll see whose God is more powerful, yours or mine. And he threw him into the fiery furnace. And he should have been burned up like a twig. And he wasn't. And I guess they had a good science in those days. They could see what was going on inside this fiery furnace. It was so hot that the servants who made it themselves got burned up, caught fire. And they could see inside. Avram was walking around with company, he had company. And these were angels. And for him, it was an experience of paradise, of Gan Eden, where fire doesn't burn. He didn't get burned. So he knew what Gan Eden smelled like because that's where he was. He had a brother, a stepbrother. Haran was his name. He was the father of Sarah. So they said to him, well, whose side are you on? This side or the other side? Avram's side or Nimrod's side? He says, we'll see. So when Avram survived and everybody was in awe, they said, well, what do you say? He says, I'm on Avram's side, 100%. They said, okay, in you go. Poof, they threw him in. He burned up like that. Someone's calling me. I'll speak to him later. So that's how Avram knew what Gan Eden smelled like. And that's how we know the opposite side does not smell so good. So the side of holiness is bitul, subservient to holiness, thinks only of holiness, thinks only of Hashem. Yes, sir, no, sir, 3 bags full, sir. What can I do for you, sir? Just say the word. That's the devotion we have to Torah. That's how we have to feel about learning. That's how we have to feel the privilege of doing something holy, doing a mitzvah. When you light a Shabbos candle, you have to know that the Shabbos candle doesn't smell. It creates light. But other mitzvahs smell very good. And people who do a lot of mitzvahs, they come into a room and they bring a reyach nichayach. That means a wonderful fragrance, a sweet smell into the world. Have a good day.
Rabbi, you were saying that the brother that burned up Sarah's father was his stepbrother?
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Who else was he going to marry?
But her father, the brother that died wasn't his real brother, it was his stepbrother?
Different mother.
Half brother.
Yeah, it was a
Different
half
different
brother.
mother, okay.